Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creator.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Dejavu.
Hello.
Hey.
I love that name, by the way. Like, can you just tell me a little bit about that? Like, where did that come from? I think it's so cool.
Okay, so this happened probably maybe about 10 or 15 years ago. I was in a nightclub. I was dressed up kind of like a club kid. You know, I had on this really cool makeup on my face and I was wearing this top hat. And on of the dance floor and this crowded of people, just massive of people on the dance floor. And I said to myself, I was like, you know what? I need a special name because I can't be looking this fabulous.
Yes.
You know, have a special name. And so something just came to me and the universe just said Dejavu.
I like
and
that.
So I'm like, wow, because, you know, Dejavu means that, you know, once seen, been here before, because people always say, I think we met before. But anyway, yeah, that name came to me and it stuck with me.
I love it. It's
And
great.
saying that, I reminded them of someone from this movie. I can't think of the movie off the top of my head. But anyway, this character wore this top hat all the time. And it was like one of those voodoo movies. I'm like, okay.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's where the name came from. And I've been branded that name ever since.
That's amazing. It's great. When I saw you on the red carpet, I was like, yes, like your energy, all of it was so great. I was like, I have to talk to you. So I'm so glad we get to talk to you today.
I really appreciate that.
Definitely. Let's go back to the beginning. So I always say that the beginning charts everything, where we're going, our trajectory, where we're going in life. So maybe tell me a little bit about your childhood and what was that like, and how did you kind of find your way into doing the things that you're doing now?
Well, my childhood started out, I grew up in I had my mom and dad, we all grew up together. And I had two other brothers. I'm the oldest and the most fabulous of three. And I've always, loved the fashion industry. I remember in my neighborhood when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, I used to, go to fashion shows and, want to be a model, during that time. And once I got in school, we used to have like fashion show competitions. And so I would enter these competitions, as a model, want to be a high fashion model. Yeah. And I used to cut out all these magazine pictures and put on my wall in my room of all these male Black models, just hanging up just for inspiration, because I was like, this is somebody that looks like me.
Yeah.
And I could, be that person just the same as they did it. And so once I got out of high school, I got my driver license and I knew how to get to the city. So I said, you know what? I know how to get to the city because I grew up in Conyers, which is a suburb of Atlanta. It's about 30 minutes outside of Atlanta.
Okay.
It's more, really country. Well, it's not country anymore. It's, it's grown and expanded. Mm-hmm. But I applied myself to Atlanta and I found out there was this school called Barbizon. It was the Barbizon School to Model. And I'm like, that sounds interesting. And this is something I want to do. And so I went to Barbizon and did all the paperwork. And I came back to my mom.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day home care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
And I was telling her, I found this really cool school in Atlanta and it's for modeling and I would like to go. But my mother, for some reason, I don't know what it was. I think my mother grew up in a different time.
Right.
And she's very, protective of, her kids. And so she didn't really understand the industry that well. So she was kind of afraid, of me, going and taking these chances. But as soon as I turned like 21, I said, okay, I'm going to take a chance and I'm just going to do something I've always done because I love fashion. I love clothes and everything like that. And so I found out about this other modeling school called Austin's Professional Modeling Acting. And so I enrolled myself into that.
Nice.
I enrolled myself into that. They taught us how to dress. They taught us how to, the grooming, exercise, how to take care of your skin and everything like that. And so it turned out really nice and I loved it. And so I took that class and here I am today. And then once I got out of school, well, this is going to be kind of scary. I'm going to say this anyway, but we went in a van to New York City for a modeling competition. My mother was having a fit. I cannot believe this. I'm so afraid for you. And we were going in a van.
Wow.
And just took this chance and I didn't know any other people that were going.
Something I would do.
That was put in it, but I remember we all went into a van. It was about 8 of us and we drove to Manhattan from Atlanta and it took us like 12 hours to get to New York City and we stayed in the Waldorf Hotel.
Nice.
And here I am all in this big old city with my little Polaroid camera walking around taking pictures, and we went there and it was amazing. Oh my God, I had so much fun. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
However, but I went there and I did the modeling competition. It was so much fun. It was a weekend trip.
Wow.
Yeah, and we came back and it was exciting. And I had a lot of stuff to talk to my parents about and tell my friends about, and it was so much fun. Yeah. But I've always been interested in the fashion and the entertainment industry. I've always had that because when I was growing up, my parents, they played music all the time and there was always something going on the weekends. And, so I grew up around entertainment kind of because my mother used to belong to a women's club and they called themselves the Lady Nelsons.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. So they would have parties, they would each, host a party at their house. And I remember, my mother would host a party at her house and they would have like a DJ would come there and spin music and people would come in and play, dance and everything like that. I just had an amazing childhood. We didn't have a lot. My mother didn't have a lot, but, growing up as a kid, they gave us what they could.
Right.
Where we did go on vacations, summer vacations, we went to visit our cousins and we went to the beach in the summer when we were out of school. So I had a really, 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 really great childhood growing up. I really did.
I love that. I love that that's the case. And, you have a supportive mom, that's really, really important. I think the support system is so important. Like, growing up, because I remember being the kid and saying, I want to be a filmmaker. And everyone's like, okay, good luck with that. But it was really, I think it's always good that when you have family that are in your corner to support you. Yeah. I think that's important. I'm curious, so after the modeling, that's the thing that's kind of like spark that got out of you. You were like, wow, this is what I want to do. This is like my calling. When did it kind of transition into doing like interviews and like talking to people? Because you have like a natural, you just have like this natural, I want to talk to you kind of vibe.
Well, that all started because when I was in school, I went to college. I went to Atlanta Technical College, and I was a hairstylist. I got
Nice.
my cosmetologist. And then I started getting into the acting field.
Nice.
I became an actor. I started taking acting classes, and then I started getting like little gigs, as an extra. You
Nice.
know, The Walking Dead. I did a few episodes of that, and then I did a few episodes in a few other movies I did. But the interview, as far as being a host, that came through charity.
Ah,
So
okay.
out to me on Facebook, and they had been seeing me, around, doing certain things in the fashion industry, and they were like, they reached out to me, and she was like, you know what, I would love for you to be on my red carpet host.
Awesome.
She said, I want you to be the male, the male version of Joan Rivers as my host. I'm like, wow,
I
okay.
love it. That's hilarious, but I love it.
What I was doing, you hear me? I had scary. I was so green. I was so nervous. I just went off the cuff. I mean, when people come in on the red carpet, I didn't know who I was speaking with. I
All
just
right.
had to improv everything, which
Good.
what I do pretty much today.
Yeah, it's great. It works because you have that background in acting, so you could just like go with it. It's like it's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it all started, and I already had my name and everything, and then I wanted to develop the brand.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to be the brand where people can actually just be themselves, no matter who they are, no matter where you come from. You can still be you,
Right.
unique who you are, no matter what. Because I remember coming up, being gay and everything like that. I was afraid to come out during that time.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
You
sure.
remember, I know my parents loved me and everything like that, but I was still afraid to kind of like tell them, so to
Hmm.
speak. But
Hmm.
eventually, once I got comfortable and I started, doing my own thing and got comfortable in my own skin, I was able to tell them, and they was like, "Well, you still my child. I still love you." I'm like, "Well, I wish I did years ago."
Right.
But being on the red carpet, it's a lot of fun. I love talking to people, and I love hearing their stories. I love hearing their brands. I love using my platform to give people an opportunity, to let people know who they are and what they do. You
Yeah.
know, I just love that, and I created this character Dejavu where, he's a little bit of androgynous. He likes to mix his clothing with male and female energy, and I think we all have that energy in us. We all do. Women have male energy and men have female energy. We just all have it, but some of us are a little bit more stronger than others.
Hmm.
But yeah, I love that, and when I first started doing my interviews, I would get people, they would look at me kind of weird because I was dressed. They were like, wow, look at this guy, what we got on. But it didn't bother me because,
Good.
I was.
Oh, right. Right. Exactly.
I knew who I was, and I knew who I wanted to be, and I knew what I wanted to use my platform for.
Yeah, that's just it, and and that's amazing. I feel like that is such a great place to be when you know who you are, especially in
Hmm.
the industry that we're in. It's super um like judgmental and everybody has their opinions about what you should do, but it's not their life, it's your life. It's your destiny, it's what you want. And like I feel like that is, you know, it's funny because like this business is the entertainment business, so we I love it, but also there's that rejection side too, that part of like you're not good enough, you need to do this, you need to do that. So what made you say, you know what, I want to do my own thing? Because I mean, I'm sure you can, like, even for me myself, I did my own thing. I did the independent route versus going mainstream because I have more like freedom. That's personally my reasoning of why I kind of kept it my brand, what I wanted to do. But what about you? Do you feel like that's the same thing for you?
Yeah, I've had people. Well, I had this one fashion show producer. He told me one time, he was like, "Well, I like what you're doing, but I think you should change it up a little bit."
Hmm.
He was he didn't want me to, wear the makeup. He wanted me to be like everybody else, and that's just not who I am.
Right.
You know, that I've been doing this for a while, even before I even started work with you, and I feel more comfortable with who I am than trying to be somebody else and trying to blend in. And I did that for a long time, Meosha. I lived a lie for a long time trying to blend in with society.
Yeah.
Society should be this way, it should be that way. I did that, just living a lie. And I said, once I started believing in myself and knowing who I am, I decided right then and there, I'm not going to change for anybody, because this is who I am and this is me,
Right.
you know, 100%. Because I did that fake stuff for a long time, and I just decided I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
No, I love that. I love that. That's a beautiful thing. I think a lot of people, I mean, need to hear that. Like, be yourself. Don't change who you are for anyone in the business or for anyone, whether it's in the business or outside of it, like at all. Be you. So
yeah, because I feel like, if you try to change yourself and try to blend in with, what people want you're not being your authentic self. You're
yeah.
not truthful with who you are.
Absolutely. So I have a fun question. And
Okay.
there's no wrong answer, but the three levels of influence: money, power, or respect. And if you could choose one, only one, which one would you choose and why?
I would choose respect. I would choose respect because I feel like, in life, money is good and power is good. But if you don't have respect for me or for yourself, what good is money and power? You
That's good.
know,
That's a good answer.
they said money can't buy happiness, and power, you can have power, but you can misuse that power. But when you have respect, you respect me and you respect you. So you can respect. I think that is something that I would choose, because being respectful and being someone respecting you is more than anything you can have this ties to monetize, or power.
I love
Because
that.
sometimes when people get power, they misuse the power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
know,
100%.
have money, they got so much money, they still feel like they can just do anything they want to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, I believe, like I said earlier, like if you respect someone, you can get a long way in life, I think.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yes. I I was gonna say, have you thought like so you said I think you mentioned something about your own brand. So you thought about doing your own clothing line. Is that something that you're wanting to do in the future?
Well, a lot of people, when they see me, they think I'm a designer.
I would think so. I'd be like, whatever that like, like gonna put it out there.
What I do, most of my clothes that I get, I start out going to like consignment stores
Ah, okay, okay.
of the vintage kind of look. I try to be unique, because I don't buy a lot of brands per se. I don't,
Right.
stuff like that as much. But a lot of my stuff, I would go to the consignment store and I would, find something and I might see a woman's blouse or a woman's jacket, and I would put it together with a pair of male slacks, or I put it together with a bow tie. My ultimate dream, my ultimate goal now is to use my platform to help others who are out there that are very, very talented, but they don't have a platform where they can show their talents.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing now is my goal is to have my own TV show.
All right. Yes. Oh yeah. You'll get
My
it.
show as me being the host. And my TV show is going to be about I guess it could be kind of like a variety show where I will have performing artists on the show. And these artists come from different genres of music, whether they sing pop, country, rock, whatever they sing, they come on the show. I introduce them to the show, and I'm gonna have these massive of people dancing to the music that they're playing, that they're
Okay.
and they're gonna have, like, they're gonna do. It's kind of like a show similar to Soul Train
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
on a modern version. Yes. And so I want to use my platform to give these artists an opportunity to be seen. Hopefully, and they're hoping to be on the show, hoping that someone will discover them and see them on, on television.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great show. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
that is my ultimate goal. And, I've been going to a lot of different places here in Atlanta, with people that are having like meet and greets and awards shows and stuff like that here in Atlanta. But I just haven't found the right person that's really, really to like really see the end results.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because I want to be like Dejavu next Atlanta, Dejavu next LA, Dejavu next New York, Dejavu next, in different cities.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're gonna kind of, oh, that's actually a cool idea. That's a very cool idea. I like that. I think television nowadays is I majored in film and well cinematography originally, and then I went into I started doing music videos at first, and I moved into short film music videos, feature films, which are longer length films. And then but television I think I dibbled in one job with television because I believe television is like a very long process, like
Mm-hmm.
to have all the episodes episodic, and make sure like all the things, and then where you're going to shoot and the crew. And now I think the biggest problem, I don't think it's I think now it's kind of harder because of the strike that's happening. That's that's a whole nother topic in itself. I mean, I have friends of mine that major in television who are producers that can't really get things going right now because of like due to strike. It's like they have to hold off because of this whole thing that's going on. So I don't know how long it's going to last for, but hopefully soon. But I think if you pitch it, like get like do you have like a pitch, like something like you type it up of like the concept, and then you send it out to like production houses, and you never know. Like I could definitely talk to you more about it when
Yeah,
off this one.
for sure, definitely.
Definitely cool. Like I know we're all living in this. We're out of COVID now, thank God. But it was kind of tough getting back to somewhat normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what keeps you going even in the tough times? Like, why do you what keeps you doing the things that you do?
Well, I am a cancer survivor.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer 2 years ago. So I've been cancer free for a year now.
Wow.
So,
Awesome.
so during that time, going through all of that, I have really learned to appreciate everything that I have. You
Mm,
know, a lot, but I appreciate everything that I have, everything I do, everyone that I meet, because I'm very blessed and very lucky that I'm still here. You know,
mm-hmm.
I listen to motivational speeches in the morning when I get up. I thank the universe for everything that I have. I thank the universe for my family. For my fiance. I'm just grateful, and I'm grateful for everything that I have. So, and that keeps me going. Because I could have been not here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very blessed to still be here. So I am very, very grateful that I'm still here, and I definitely appreciate life so much. And I just live my life. I try to live it to the fullest.
I love that.
I live my life to the fullest. And there are some days, that it gets kind of tough, or negativity comes in, and
Yeah.
you know push through that. Whenever something negative come in, I replace with something positive.
All right. Exactly. I love that. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that. Wow. Wow. That's a blessing. I think this life of, that we live, journey that we're all on, it's an interesting one. And I think that, they always say, well, why do bad things happen to good people? And I think that it's all a part of the story, right? A part of our big story to reach others, because that's what it's
Mhm.
all about at the end of the day. I believe. I definitely believe that.
And I believe everything happens because it's supposed to happen. And we're living in the life that, the universe has already written out for us. And whatever happens, like you said, why do bad things happen to good people? Because, that's part, like you said, it's part of the journey, it's part of the life, it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Because I believe that we are spirits in a human body.
Yeah.
We all,
Yeah.
you know, we're just having a human experience on earth, but we're all spirits in a human body, and we're just having a human experience on earth.
I love that. That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. But yeah, that's what I believe. I truly, truly, truly believe that. And I still have to go, there are days I still have to go, to the doctor and, get my 4 to 6 months, just to make sure everything is okay. Everything is all clear. And each time I go and I come back, you're good. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. For those that are listening and that want to get in this business of whichever, even being a host, what advice would you give them if they wanted to just get into this business?
Don't take no for an answer. Keep pushing forward. No matter if you get 1,000 no's, you just get that one yes. That's all you need. Because not everybody, what I've learned, not everybody is going to like me. And that's okay.
Right.
Everybody's not going to like what I do, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to like the way I look, and that's okay. And that's what, if anybody out there is listening, don't worry about what people think of who you are. As you believe who you are and what you do, that's all that matters. Because there's going to be somebody out there that's going to say yes. You just have to keep, or no matter if you want to be an actor, actress, a host, a movie producer, director, whatever you want to do in life, you can do anything in this world that you want to do. You just have to keep pushing forward, because the only competition that you have is yourself.
Right.
We can do anything we want to do, but I think life sometimes throws us this thing and having us thinking that we can't do certain things. We see certain things on TV or social media, and we compare ourselves to other people. And you don't have to do that. You have to come, because everybody's journey is different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so real. That was good. That was thank you for that advice. I think this is always, I love asking, because I think that there are the listeners that I do get, they like to, ask, like, wow, that really helped me. That got me through. That really made me like think about this. And so I really truly believe that, all we can do is pay it forward. I mean, it's like, I don't have the blueprint. It's just that I just get up and do it. That's all I did. I just never stopped. I think consistency is the key to everything.
Yeah.
Never stop.
Never stop. And it's okay if you make mistakes on the way.
Yeah.
It's okay mistakes on the way. We're not perfect. We're human. And we're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
Some your imperfection is some of the most beautiful things that can happen.
Love that. You thought about writing a book?
No.
You could. I was like, yes, I can hear it. I'd read it. I'd read it.
She wanted me to write, after I was diagnosed with cancer, she wanted me to like write a book, and I'm not good in writing. I can put it down, but I can tell somebody, exactly what it is, so they can put it down.
Oh, yeah. That works too.
I'm that guy, so I could probably do it that way. But yeah, I mean, I have been writing my thoughts down. Sometimes I do journal.
I love that.
I do journal because sometimes it helps me. It helps me to like look back on certain things, and I can go back and look at certain things. And it helps me sometimes when I'm like, feeling a little bit down. Hey, whatever. And then I say, okay, this is good. This is okay. You're human.
Right.
So I don't try to put myself down too much. I mostly try to lift myself up more so than, putting myself down. So,
100%.
But yeah.
I have a really quick question, and maybe this is a little political, maybe too political. I can get that way sometimes. I'm trying not to be. Do you see like do you feel like the hosting world is diverse? Do you see like a lot of men doing hosting nowadays, especially African American men?
I don't.
No, that's interesting.
I don't. That's why we have to, as a people, have to help each other out. I was at an interview. I was at a gala last week, and I interview. I'm always taking my microphone everywhere I go, honey.
I love it. I love that.
I always take my mic. Can I interview you? Can I interview you? Well, there was this news anchor. She's a journalist, and she's on Fox 5 here in Atlanta. Her name is Portia on Fox 5. She has her own TV show here in Atlanta, and
Nice.
yeah, she was a journalism, so she used to be like out, on the streets, giving you the news of what's going on in Atlanta. But now she has her own TV show. And when I interviewed her, she was so down to earth. She was so amazing. She was so sweet. And she was talking about how we have to help each other out,
Yes.
because it's not all about the people that are already there. You got to help bring the other people along, and because if we don't do it for each other,
Then, you know,
I can count only two people that I've seen on television that are hosts right now is Steve Harvey
okay, yeah.
and Michael Strahan. And I'm trying to think of, did I leave anybody else out that are in the host?
I don't know, actually. I don't think that's that many. No,
Even on the red carpet, I don't even see a lot of black hosts on the red carpet either.
that is
Because
really interesting.
yeah, because I watch the Grammys and I watch the Oscars and I watch all of that stuff. And I might see now, I do see them on like BET, but
Mhm.
any other, and like VH1 or anything else like that. Oh, RuPaul.
Oh, yeah. RuPaul, yes.
Paul, forgot about RuPaul,
Yeah.
but that's it. That's all I can name that are really big that have made it. So yeah, but
Wow.
even a few people here, in Atlanta on the red carpet and stuff like that. But I'm talking about people that can actually, make some things happen. No,
Right. And I feel like that's the key. That is definitely the key. It's like if we want to change things, we have to be the change. Like
that's it. Yeah. Portia was saying that's what she loves her show. She was like, we got to help each other out. She's made it. She's done her thing. Now she has her own TV show, and she was saying the exact same thing. You gotta help the ones that are coming along. Not just help give it to the ones that are already there. You know what I
right.
mean? Because there's an event that's getting ready to happen now here in Atlanta, which is supposed to be pretty big. It's in the fashion industry, and so we'll see who's going to be on the carpet.
Right.
Because they have some big deals that are coming through.
Okay.
Honorees that's going to be there. So yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. How much and like where can people find your work, like how much you charge, like your rates and everything on your website? Do they contact you like directly through your email, or how would they get to in touch with you with that?
Contact me through my email.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now I will be getting me an agent. We're working on an agent right now because
All
I need
right.
an agent, child.
It helps, right? It definitely helps. You're like, well, now I'm an agent, so my prices are a little bit more high.
Everybody now book me. Y'all better go ahead and book me now before I get the agent, honey. Because if I get the agent, honey, she's gonna elevate a little bit.
I mean, you got to do it. You got to get it. I was actually going to yeah, so we'll talk. We'll talk. We'll definitely talk. There's a lot of things happening I would love to talk to you about, but thank you so much for coming on. It was very lovely, and it was a great conversation just to hear your story. Like, so thank you for
I'm
sharing it with us.
so excited. I mean, I was counting the days, honey. I was looking at my email. Okay, now send me the link.
I love that. That means so much. I love that.
Countdown, baby. I was looking for the countdown. I was excited, and I am so glad that the universe brought us together. When I saw you that day, I was like, girl, we can do some things together if you want to. We can do some things. And and I say you know, every time the universe brings people together, they bring them together for a reason.
Yes,
You-
1,000.
And when I saw you that day, I was like, oh, I love her. I just came and I showed him, you know, I talked about you, showed him the video of you. He was like, she's really cool. I'm like, yeah.
Yay. Yeah, I'll be back out October. I'll be back out October. Thank you so much again. Oh, where can people find you on social media to follow you and everything that you have going on?
Hey, so they can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the fabulous FABULOUS Dejavu and Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook at Dejavu Williams.
All right. Thank you so much again. We appreciate you. Everybody, thank you for listening, and go follow. Please, please, please follow, support. And thank you so much again. I really appreciate
Having me. I had a fabulous time, and you are so.
I had a great time too.
And one more thing I'm going to say this. I always like to say my little, it's not trademark, but my little quote. Remember, always be you and always be unique.
Love that. I love that. That's beautiful. And on that note, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.